Today, I'm sharing a Flux2 Klein. This is a fast version of LoRA. A LoRA that enhances realism. I want to see the effect. I chose this key point to enhance the realism of the characters. This is a rather important advantage. For example, the images we generate are usually generated by AI. This LoRA technique can preserve these facial features. One quick to create a very realistic skin. This is what I consider its most important function and role. If we don't use this LoRA, it looks enhanced till it seems even greasier. Therefore, this is inappropriate. This is without LoRA. The effect of enhancing its realism is extremely poor. It would be better not to enhance it at all. This was generated using native methods. It's also very greasy. So if we add LoRA, it can perfectly remove its AI fill with just one click. If you're using Quen Image Edit, the generated version is very realistic. However, if you want to keep your facial features unchanged or dark, it currently does not have an editable model. Therefore, it is impossible to guarantee that facial features conversion makes it more realistic. So that solves the problem. Images or people that are not real. Transform into a highly realistic experience with just realistic photos. Then take a look at the introduction of LoRA. The one in the middle does not use LoRA. It changes skin tone and stuff. It changes a lot. Moreover, the center of the image conveys a sense of realism, and this is the default image from the original. If we use LoRA here, it will preserve the facial features of the image. And the skin was made to look very realistic. And then the changes below are also huge. The original image has been changed. Furthermore, the character's skin is too After using this LoRA, it will be very realistic. If LoRA is not used below, it modifies many details on the image. Moreover, the characters are not realistic. If you use this LoRA, the figures are perfectly preserved and the details are incredibly realistic. Below are the usage methods for the scene. For example, the first image is the original. If you don't use LoRA, then it's enhancement. The visual appeal is completely different. The gap is huge, so after using this LoRA, its effect is basically the same as the original image. However, the details have been enhanced, making it extremely realistic. Of course, this detail, which enhances realism, can be controlled. And if the bottom is also enhanced like this, it will add a lot of detail. This is the original image. This detail has been added too much. This can also be controlled by yourself, below and below that. You actually treat LoRA as one of the effects of enhancing realism is. Okay, let's get back to this. The main problem I'm using here is detail enhancement. Enhance its realism. For example, the realism of the skin. If we don't use this LoRA, the resulting product is always very oily. The texture is like plastic, not like real skin. After using it, it's fine pose. It was reproduced very realistically. The hair looks incredibly realistic. It would look even worse and greasy if you didn't use it. This is unusable. It simply adds a more realistic LoRA. Then I've written the prompts here. If you forget, you can open it here. The first is its prompt word. Then you'll see this later. If you wanted to have smooth skin, just write smooth skin. Then control its intensity, the strength of this LoRA. For example, if you only reduce it will be half greasy. The default value of 1 is usually This can be controlled by yourself. Do you want it to be more or less realistic? You can control it. For example, from 0 to 1, if you want it to be a little weaker, then 0.5 will be fine. Of course, I have many other LoRAs here. For example, this LoRA in a different outfit. It doesn't require LoRA to change outfits. Its success rate is completely different. Use this LoRA outfit. The success rate is basically 100%. If you don't use LoRA to change outfits, its details, such as the folds, or the hands, may not be accurate, feet, and figure are too severely deformed. So changing LoRA's outfit solved the problem for this character. The consistency of top, bottom, and parents is maintained. If not used, the character's facial features might change. The details of the colors will change. The details of the parents will change. So if we use LoRA, it has an almost 100% success rate. Then this is relevant to design. Perhaps the most important thing is to enhance its skin. For example, you can keep its facial features unchanged, transform its skin to look completely realistic. Then this workflow is very practical. This LoRA is very useful. Of course, this is a complete Flux workflow. I've placed this workflow on the outermost layer here. First, let me introduce the system online mirror of InkBrain Cloud. Users prefer to deploy locally and use it immediately. Just click on My Mirror. This is the image I'm opening now. It can be opened and managed just like a local installation. You can add or modify the model. I'm currently using an online mirror. Then if you use my online mirror, this means you can have all of these with just one click, without any deployment required. Then the outermost one is the most frequently used. For example, Flux2 is a complete workflow. The latest 2509 is also a complete set. Clicking on the full set also includes the Queen Image Edit full set. It is also a complete workflow. Then there's also one-point video generation. Both LaTeX-V and LaTeX-V's video generation features a complete package. And this music generation and voice cloning. Or you can find it in voice generation Q and H3TTS. The outside is where it's most commonly used. It is divided into 3 categories: video recording, image, and some audio. Of the most commonly used workflows are image processing here, including some of the most commonly used workflows. There are also voice-based audio files, including some voice changing. It can also generate music and sound clones, etc. These are all commonly used. Using my image means you don't need to deploy locally. They are all ready to use immediately. Note that this workflow is here. Moreover, I have video tutorials for each workflow here. There are also corresponding notes. For example, this workflow name. If you want to deploy locally, please open my notes. Click on the ComfyUI tutorial in the navigation. It will then redirect you to the workflow location. This is the same divided into 3 workflow inside this image class. This Flux to single image and multi-image editing tool. The name is exactly the same as the workflow name. Each workflow corresponds to a node. The installation instructions are included, all the models that need to be downloaded screenshots, then where to install it. All details are marked here. Then some screenshots and some LoRA were used. Its functions, including workflow screenshots and installation location, etc. This is the coding. Everything here is installed. Model download and placement location. Below that is the complete workflow. Screenshots of each workflow. All the screenshots clearly show the numerical parameters. This way, sometimes it's not necessary to view the functions you need. Is it in this workflow? At the very bottom of video tutorials and workflow downloads. This node is suitable for people who deploy locally. If you don't want to deploy, then just open my image. Just like the one I'm using now, you can open it and use it immediately. You don't need to worry about these deployments, setups, and these workflows, or all the model downloads and deployments, etc. If it's too much trouble, just open then follow my video tutorial. Each of these workflows has a video tutorial, so as long as you watch my video tutorial once, you can get started and learn as you go. Okay, that's all for this episode. Go have fun.